Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine, episode 187. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is Blaine Birch, my friend, my confidant, the CEO and founder of Dry Run. What's up, man?
I had basically one beer in the house today. Back in Edmonton, back in town. I haven't had a chance to do a beer run yet. So I had a giant bottle, like the wine size bottle of a 10 or 11%, which is one of my favorite beers in Canada. But I had just one bottle of beer that I'm like, holy cow, I'm gonna have to do a beer run before next week. But anyway, but I got a good one today, so I'm quite happy about that.
Which one do you got?
Well, I've had it on the show before, but it's been a while, and I get back to Canada. It's one of my absolute favorite Canadian beers. Dieu, Ciel, Péché, Mortel Sin. That's 9.5%, so it's a little heavy, but this is a lovely beer. It's one of the best in Canada.
Was that sitting in the house for 6 months?
Yeah, but a barrel-aged stout, they sit really well. They hang on really good. So the only ones I had was this one, and actually, I got to tell you, I think I have 4 or 5 bottles of the Trois Musketeers, which are the Three Musketeers. It's a barrel-aged stout as well. They'll last for years, but they're like the big wine bottle ones. That, I'm like, I can't open one of those. I need friends over for that one. Even my wife and I will get a little loopy if we try and cut through all that in one night. So I had one, so at least I had one, and it's a delicious one. So I am happy to have one of my favorite Canuck beers. So.
Got it. So if you're confused on what the hell's going on in this episode, this is Mike and Blaine. This is business, beer, and BS. We don't know where to start. We don't know how to start a show. We just kind of go with it, right? Whatever's happening. But I like that. But that means we're going to have a healthy dose of business, talk about some beer, drink a beer while we're doing it, and then also has some BS to go along with it. So you got a little bit, all three right there in the beginning.
All of it in the beginning, but hang tight because we will be talking about a talent pool shortage survival guide. That was a mouthful. You got a good title this week. But anyway, we're going to talk about how do you attract and most importantly at times maintain staff, because it's a little bit challenging out there from a number of different ways. So we're going to talk about that later today once we get through our beer sponsors. And what are you drinking this week?
All right, so this must be the episode of old beers. Because remember, like 2 weeks ago, Pat brings me over like 6 beers, right? There's 2, yes. 2, and 2. And he must have been cleaning out his fridge because I'm like, I didn't look at what he gave me. I just took a 6-pack and threw it in the fridge. So I'm going to have another Deschutes this week, but it's Jubelale, the festive winter ale.
I was going to ask you if it was like a Halloween one or something, but it's close.
Yeah, pretty close, right? I'm going, I think he just got it got past Christmas. He says, all of this stuff has got to go. Like it's April, give it to Mike. He'll drink anything. Like the life commercials.
Yeah, exactly. Mikey
hey,
will eat anything.
It's funny. So that's neighbor Pat. Neighbor Pat is one of the people that actually supports us. He doesn't just give us beer, right? He actually brews beer in his garage. And good stuff, man. He makes the good stuff, and he's not afraid to step out on the ledge and go, I'm going to do a mango. I'm going to do a, Scottish ale. He will take and stretch his ability all the way out, and he's good at it, man. I'm telling you, and I've seen him do it in the garage. He just makes beer in his garage.
Nice. And he gets rid of old beer as well. That's what it's like, his new beer and then also just stuff in his fridge. So thanks, Pat. Appreciate it. Also, Rachel Barnett from Gentle Frog, one of our longtime sponsors. She's sponsoring all the way through to the end of the year. And Rachel Barnett, if you need to know how to use QuickBooks, like if you have a business, you're using QuickBooks, go to gentlefrog.com, or even more, go to her YouTube channel, which is YouTube at Gentle Frog. There are a ton of awesome videos that are going to show you how to use QBO effectively for your business. So thanks again, Rachel.
Speaking of beer sponsors, if you need help run your business, if you got hidden cash somewhere, you think it's there, or you've told yourself, I'm making money, how come I don't have any? You need to contact Karen Hairston up there at 3ssmartconsulting.com. 3ssmartconsulting.com. She can find hidden cash. She will put your company on the right path to put cash back in your pocket.
And finally, Devin, world's biggest LSU fan. I know you've met Devin. Thanks again, Devin. We're just bouncing back and forth, so I'm thanking you, Devin. I really appreciate the support of the show. Just so much appreciated. And if you guys want to sponsor the show, I got to tell you, this is the best bang for your buck, because we started this as just an idea years ago, and we haven't changed anything. Everything else has gone up in price, inflation. We don't have a beer tariff. We just literally $5 an episode. Go to mikeandblaine.com, $5. We will mention you, and you can buy as many weeks as you want, and we will talk about you or talk about your business all the way through. And we have some that are going all the way to the end of the year. So you can join them and we'll talk about you. Just mikeandblaine.com. Go to buy us a beer, which will take you to a buy us a coffee site, but you can buy beer. And basically it's $5 an episode. We're good to go.
Yeah, we keep promising people we're going to look at that process. But hey, this is just, it's, I can't even call it a hobby anymore because we're almost cash flow positive.
We are. I think we might turn a very small profit if we don't pay ourselves anything this year.
We don't pay ourselves. That's for true. But I got to tell you, if this is the first time, he says we didn't change anything. If this is your first time ever listening to this show, one of the things you got to look at is nothing is prepared. So nothing's prepared. I come up with the topic 10 minutes before the episode. I write up a brief description that you see probably on your screen right now. If not, it's on the episode that gets posted to Apple or Spotify or Google, and we run with it, right? So what you're seeing is two guys, just like you and your friend, be sitting on the back porch, just talking about any topic. That's what we do every week, and I think it works.
Yeah, talking business with a little bit of BS. Thanks for joining us.
There you go. So, all right. So I wanted to talk about people, right? Because that's what we do. We talk about people. like
you know what I heard.
Yeah, like how terrible Pat is at bags. I mean, if you've never heard that, I mean, that's me talking about Pat. He gives me old beer. He gives me old beer and comes down here and gets beat up in bags all the time. The only person I've ever seen not score a point in cornhole is Pat. And I thought it couldn't be done. I thought it couldn't be done once. He's done it twice.
Oh, wow. Okay, I got to say, I've only played cornhole like a handful of times. So Pat, I'd be right there with you. I'm sure you would wipe the floor with me with my cornhole lack of ability. But one of these days we'll find out.
There you go. All right. So here's what was happening, right? Remember, these topics just come off the top of our head. Courtney has been kind of in a hiring challenge, right? Which is interesting to me because she works for a larger corporation. And I always think that small business is a microcosm of what's happening up above, right?
Yeah.
Meaning, I don't care if it's our processes, the templates we use, the way we price, the way we interact, the way we do our media or our advertising. It's always somewhat connected to what we've seen larger corporations do because we look at that as success.
Yeah.
So when I see larger corporations say, damn, it's hard to hire, I pay attention to that because if large corporations are having trouble hiring, maybe we are too, right? I mean, when I say we, it's me and you, the small business owner. You know, what's been your experience on that? What are you hearing right now on the street?
You know, like the last sort of couple of years, what I've heard a lot of, what a lot of, we talk with a lot of CPAs and that are doing fractional CFO work and things like that. If the feedback we get from there is it's been a real challenge to hire in that industry. And so that's one of those ones we hear a lot about. But I wonder, I'm going to throw this out here because I have absolutely no evidence of this at all. and it might be complete and utter BS. But I wonder if some of the larger businesses, big enterprise businesses, are having more trouble hiring because they've got so many like rules and guidelines and back to work and coming back. And I wonder if there's an opportunity for small business to take advantage of that and offer a higher level of flexibility and a higher level. Like, it's almost like, through COVID, everyone was at home and it was awful. And also like, yeah, actually, except for that whole work thing's not too bad, right? I wonder if that helps, if that has something to do with it.
All right, so I've got a comment on that. We did get something in chat from the other Mike Mylan, the Baltimore Mike Mylan, that says, "Hey, don't forget to mention merch." We didn't, and he sent a picture of him in a Mike and Blaine T-shirt. So, hey,
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah. So he texts us to us. If you check your phone right now, you'll see the picture of the other Mike Mylan in the Mike and Blaine T-shirt. It's pretty cool.
Oh, he texted you because I was looking through chat and I'm like, where is it? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he texted us.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Hey,
It's in my
why
pocket,
are you
Mike.
not
So,
using chat? Yeah, why are you not using chat? That's why, I mean, we got chat so we can see it during the show. Why are you not using chat there,
oh, yeah.
Baltimore?
Okay. Sweet.
That's a good
Look at
looking
that.
shirt, right?
Yeah. That is a
See?
sweet shirt.
That's a good
That
looking
is.
shirt.
We always
All
forget
right.
we do have merch and we got some pretty cool stuff actually. So head over to mikeandblaine.com. You can, buy a beer or buy some cool merch.
All right. So what you said was, all right, so COVID kind of shifted the mentality of the worker.
I think so. Yeah. I think a lot actually.
And here was the statement that Courtney made to me. Matter of fact, in the car today. She goes, "I'm amazed at how many incomplete applications we get."
Hmm.
Incomplete, meaning they don't finish the process. Maybe they have to fill out an extra form, or maybe they didn't attach a resume and they just applied. But there's all these, and in the corporate world, if it's incomplete, it never gets to the hiring manager, right? So think about that. So when you decide to skip a step in the corporate world, you're not going to be even looked at for this thing. But she goes, there's a majority of folks that come through that do that, and she goes, "Well, maybe it's 2 reasons why." Because I asked her, I said, "Why do you think that is?" She goes, "I think a lot of people are looking for remote work, and what she does is not remote work, right? You gotta be on site." Secondly, she goes, "The requirement to apply to so many jobs per week if you're on unemployment creates more paperwork for everybody. And that's what slows down the hiring process because they still have to sort through everybody that applies, whether or not you're serious about getting the job or you're trying to make your requirement of 5 applications per month or per week, whatever hell it is, I mean, for unemployment. What do you think about that?"
Well, okay. There's a couple buckets there that are kind of
Yeah.
interesting, but the one to me that I would be really interested in, and this is going back to kind of my software designer, user tester brain. I wonder if they're actually monitoring when people drop off or what they're skipping. Because I suspect they're gonna get all kinds of warnings. I would likely guess that like, "Well, you can't submit this till you finish part A, part B, whatever you're missing here or there." And I think they're doing it on purpose. What I think is likely happening is people are going through the process, and at some point they're going, "Hmm, I don't know if I wanna work here." Like, even applying sucks. And when you get that, 'cause I'm sure you've had this experience, like, you get these surveys coming in, "Hey, will you do the survey?" "Yeah, okay, I'll do your survey." And I get 30 seconds in and I'm like, "No, man, you lost me. Like, you're asking way too much. I don't have time for this. I was trying to do something helpful." I think it's the same sort of thing as people go like, "I don't know if I wanna work here." Like, they're making, they're supposed to be trying to attract me an employee, and they're making that process brutal. Do I want to work? I wonder if that is people are actually judging the company on the application process, and they're doing that before they can judge them on the actual application.
All right, so first of all, how long have you been in Canada?
I've been about a week, not even. No, not even a week, I don't think. Yeah.
How did how did you pick up the Canadian accent in a week? Because we had you broke of process. I mean, like last week, and now you've said it twice in the last 2 minutes.
They got me at the border, and they took me. They put me in the hole for a few days. And they said you cannot come across till you lose all of your Americana and your drawl.
When you stop saying process, you can get out of this hole.
I did. It was kind of funny because I did order. I ordered Americanos the other day, and I did get a weird look, to be completely honest. So I'm like, oh, so maybe I was subconsciously. People are not. I'll be honest with you. People are not as tolerant of America right now. So it might be like just kind of seeping in. It's like I got to get back to like I don't know.
Hey, I got it. All right. So did you see in chat this time? Look, there it is. I'm out here shoveling 8 yards of topsoil wearing your shirt. Hey, it doesn't matter if you're shoveling topsoil,
Manure,
which is the Lord's work, right? You're out there, spreading earth, making things better. I get it.
we're in here spreading manure. Well, but Mike, like it's nothing says that you appreciate our shirt more than you're out there in the dirt we're your now work shirt. So well, thank you, man. Hey, we make the best work shirt you can get.
Hey, I don't care. Buy 10 of them. Wear them every day. Go work in them. That's fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Go work in them.
Whatever works.
Oh, even the shirt. The shirt works for work.
Exactly. Well, we'll throw that picture up on the Facebook page. If you're okay with that, Mike, let us know. We'll throw up your picture on the Facebook page. So
yeah, there you go. All right. So here's what I'm thought. First of all, let's break down this why people skip. I'm like you. I'm a funnel type guy. They drop off here.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't applied for a job in a while, right? But I assume there's too many steps. There's a point in time where people get frustrated.
Yeah.
I've even heard people say that, hey, wait a second. They start asking at the end of the application. I'm talking about the end about race, about, veteran status, about, all these different things. Is that where it drops off? I don't have any, reference of where it is, but I've also seen applications that have like, you have my resume. Now you want me to retype everything into stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like going, you have the resume.
Right.
I already did the work. This should be a hard transaction where I have to recreate what I've already built. I've already spent on this.
And I think it sounds weird, but it's like, is the HR department sort of guiding this, or do they have control over it? Do they actually have people in there that are kind of like usability experts going, let's grab someone from that other department. Hey, can you run through this and see if this is helpful to get the best? Because it's not like you're just going, well, you're losing the worst leads. No, you're probably getting the most desperate ones. You're trying to get the superstars, and the superstars are going, what are you asking for? These guys were way easier to deal with, right? Like these guys, just I went for a coffee with them or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you actually pushing away your best potential leads because they're making it difficult? I'm going to give an example here of where something gets a little silly and I wonder who's responsible for it. So I'm down in Calgary next month for a conference, and I've started to get some invites to events and stuff. So one of them, I'm not going to name names but it's a big accounting firm, right? We've got this reception, and do you want to go to the reception and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, I'm right there. Sure. That sounds good. And so it's a 2-hour reception. You walk in, they might do 15-minute talk, you network, you probably have a drink and you leave, right?
Yeah.
So they have a thing where you sign up.
It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
It's easy. And they have an RSVP, and I'm sure, yeah, okay, they want to know kind of roughly how many people are coming. Sure. So I put my name, my email in, and I had to fill out an entire survey. I actually had to put in there that you know what I'm allergic to. I'm not sure why, because I don't think it's a sit down dinner. It's a stand around, have a drink. Okay. This is the one that I burst out laughing. I had to put in an emergency contact.
Really? To go to the reception?
to go to a reception. Hey, come in and you have a free beer. What's your phone number of your emergency contact? Okay, someone is responsible for that.
Yeah.
That is not like, it's not
Yeah.
jiving, right?
Yeah. My emergency contact is 911. Call those people first.
Yeah, call them first. Yeah, because what do you do? Call my wife? You're just gonna go try 911.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if I'm in trouble, call the cops and call the paramedics and stuff first.
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm gonna use that next time. 911, Edmonton Emergency Services.
Like, yeah, that's funny. So, but I mean, think about that. Do we weed out the high performer, right? Because, all right, so I've heard you say
Yeah.
this in the past: hire slow, fire fast,
Fire fast, yeah.
right?
Which is hard to do, but oh boy, have I got schooled on that when I've done the opposite.
All right, so but let's define, because I think people could get confused is, what does hire slow really mean? Because in the corporate aspect, when I was talking to Courtney, she goes, "No, I'm trying to move fast when I hire." The thing is that there's so much. I have to evaluate everything that comes through, and then maybe I got
Which,
time off. It
yeah,
isn't that I'm trying to be slow. It's that I can't fucking keep up with this. I can't keep up with
no,
everybody
but
that's
it is,
and everybody that's, looking. And
but it is truthfully that is exactly the sort of the problem is whether you want to hire fast or not, take your time, make sure you get the right person in, and it's going to take time. And even if you have like a bajillion options, go through them and take your time because you need the right one. And like
yeah,
we've
but
said a
that's when
million
you
times, it's
lose the right
culture
one.
fit, right?
I
What's
think
that?
that's when you lose the right one. You lose the right one because if there's 1,000 people apply, right? We're not talking about
Mhm.
you and I and our small business. We're talking about, Nike, or we're talking about whatever. And it's a management job that's important. You might have 10,000 people apply for that. That's where software came in and started to weed it out. Like, oh, he didn't complete this. He didn't fill out this form. He missed this
Yeah.
checkbox. And the software just kicks you out automatically, where nobody ever sees you because you didn't fill all the required boxes.
Yeah.
Then after that, maybe there's, out of 10,000, maybe there's 100 that get pushed to the hiring manager. Hey,
Yeah.
look at these. These meet your criteria. Well, 100 people to look through is still a lot of people to look through for, one person, a team. It doesn't matter. It's still 100 people to look through. And then you take into the fact that they're still doing their regular job. They're still doing their vacations or whatever else is happening in their life. And I got 100 people to go through. So another week goes by to get through all of those. And then in the corporate world, before they meet with you face to face, there's going to be another process where I might meet with you virtually. So there's another meeting. Now there's 2 meetings just to weed you down from 100 to 25, or, or
Mhm.
whatever that number is, or 10 to 3. So it takes an incredible amount of time anyway. I don't
Yeah.
know that it's slow because they're taking their time and thinking about it, or it's slow because it just fucking takes a long time to do this.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, like when you describe it that way, to me, it's like take your time at the 20 mark when you get it down to those 20. Like, and if none of them are right, start working your way back. But the curious thing I still go back to is how are they qualifying people? How are they qualifying them out? Because they're trying to go, I got to get to 10,000 to 100. And if if the way they do it is, well, let's make the application process really crappy, and the ones that hang on and are desperate enough to go through our crappy process. I'm not, okay, Courtney, I'm not saying you, I'm just in general. I'm saying about your process. Um, I'm trying to get process and now I'm back and forth on that pasta. I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just coming and going.
Hey, you be you. You be you.
Yeah, BB, this is like weird hybrid way of speaking. I'm gonna start British English pretty soon. The But what I'm curious about is out of that 10,000, the way you're qualifying people out, are you qualifying potentially, I don't know if it's true, but potentially, are you actually qualifying out the potentially the best fit, the best fit people for your team that are perfect culture fit and everything else, because somebody in another department has made it really onerous in the wrong places. Like, it feels like, are you actually making the demands in the right places where people that you're trying to attract go, yeah, I'll take on that challenge because I want this job. Like, are you trying to attract the best, or are you fleshing people out for a silly reason? They didn't put their name on the top of the test. They, whatever, right? Like, it just seems like a little bit arbitrary.
Well, you can argue that both ways. If they can't pay attention to simple instructions during the application process, maybe they can't, do the job you're asking them to do.
Potentially, I would be really curious to know if it's one of those things where I didn't fill that in, and then they said, you've got 3 errors on this page, right?
Yeah.
And like especially going for a management position, I maybe people skip over, but I kind of get the feeling they're like, you got to be kidding me. Next, and are you cutting those people
All right.
out,
So
right?
there's a counter argument to that, which is, are you losing the right person with too many hurdles where they go, oh, I already got a job offer, where somebody
Exactly.
spotted them faster than you did. They already have the job offer way quicker than they ever got through the hurdles you set up in front of them.
Yeah. I'm curious that, like, I don't know. This is, again, just complete BS, but would a lot of those organizations just be better off on headhunting, trying to find the right people and attract them to the business rather than going, let's just make a giant funnel and the 20 that fall through the bottom, we got to pick one. That just seems like I know. No. Okay. I got to qualify this because the last time I applied for a job was probably 1996, and I wouldn't make a good employee. So I would be the one that I'd be like, skip this bullshit. I ain't filling that out. Like, I am that guy, right? Like, I would not make a good employee anymore. You and I are both probably unemployable at this point.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah, I would think unless I knew you and you go, hey, I want you to do this thing for me. You're not hiring
Yeah.
me off of a resume. You're just
No,
not. Which
no.
is part of the problem, right? You're not going to hire a top talent where I say, hey, I'm tired of business ownership. I just want to go be a contributor. You would
Yeah.
skip me for a couple of different reasons. Way A, I've already held higher positions, but B, I'm old. I'm old, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
55 years old. I mean, who wants to hire that guy?
Yeah. Well, and then I honestly, I think there's a lot of places that would, except that they would look like they look at my resume and go, this guy hasn't worked for someone in a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Can they make an adjustment to a position? Honestly, I'd say right now, probably not. I don't know if I would adjust very well to being an employee, but they would, I think, recognize the same thing. So um,
Yeah, but
that makes it a real challenge, right?
that's where you and I have a disadvantage because these new HR systems that funnel out folks, what is it, ATS? I forget what the hell the thing is, but there's some type of algorithm they
No
use
idea.
to make these decisions, right? Before it even hits the hiring desk. They're like, oh no, he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. We'll never hit that. We'll never hit it, right? Because
No.
because we haven't applied and been in the job market for so long, we're not using the right keywords that they use now.
Yeah.
Just not.
Yeah.
Even customer success. When I first put customer success on my business card, not my resume, on my business card, it wasn't a thing,
No.
right? It wasn't even a thing then, right? We just did it because that was on the West Coast. It was just starting out. It was maybe 15, 16, 17. And it was now everybody has a customer success manager or something
Yeah.
like that. But then it wasn't. Well, today, I haven't really done that exact job. I have, but I've done more than. It's just a piece of what we do. It's a
Yeah.
hat that we wear. It's not the same. It doesn't resonate like somebody that lives in that position for 8 hours a day for 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Now,
resonate the same.
here's the question, like, I would ask, because I have preached this for years. and I have broken my own rule numerous times and generally have been spanked by it and have gone back to the starting point for success for an organization is hire culture first. Hire for it, it's like they always say in hockey, it's like intangibles. Hire for the intangibles, hire for culture, hire for drive, hire for fit. You can train on the check marks. I'm curious how many of these, like you said, this algorithm that goes through, culture is probably not even existent. It like
Can't.
exists. This is like
Can't.
get rid of all of them, right?
A computer cannot say who I am today. Can't.
Mhm.
It can say what I did. It's the best historian you've got. It's not a reflection of who I am when you're sitting in front of me. There's no energy there. There's no impact.
Nothing.
There's no intent. There's nothing, right? Now,
I would wager that if we went through, like, just as a thought experiment, if we went through 10,000 applicants or like 1,000, let's say, actually took a time, let's take like a year and go through all these applicants and vet them as people looking culture first, that by the end, when you cut it down to those 100 applicants and then down to 25, I suspect it'll be nowhere in the area code of what an algorithm would do. And I suspect it would be a stronger set of applicants. Not that some good ones may sneak through from those other factors, but I think you're removing the likely your absolute best fit because you got to get it down to 100 people in 25, right?
yeah, I got to tell you what, if you make me look at 100 resumes or 10,000 or 1,000, it doesn't, heck, any more, 20 resumes. If you make me look at those, I'm going to go to the refrigerator. I'm going to take a magic mind shot. Why? Because if I need to focus, I need to look at stuff, I need to just dig in and not be
Mhm.
distracted by anything. And I got to find the right person that's going to make my business better. I'm going to go to the fridge and get a magic mind shot out of it. And this is the thing that just eliminates distraction, helps you focus, and makes sure that your decisions and the way you see information is so crystal clear, your day is better. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You need energy if you're doing a task like that, going through 10,000 people. And Magic Mind is a great sponsor of ours. Take advantage of their limited time offer. Get up to 48% off your first subscription because they actually have a subscription, almost half price, or 20% off a one-time purchase. So you can just give it a try. Go to magicmind.com/MikeandBlaine20. And at checkout, use the code MikeandBlaine20, all caps. Look down the show notes. You're going to see it right there. And you can get started with Magic Mind, which I know is a big hit in your household. So,
There are 3 people drinking this stuff in my household, and they got 2 different versions. 2 versions, right?
yeah,
I just
sleep
told you
too.
about the one that gives you focus. No, they got one that actually helps you sleep better. So if you've had a tough day, if you're like going, "Dude, I just need to rest. I wanna let my body recharge," try the sleep version.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check them out, magicmind.com. Check out our show notes and you can get a real good deal there. So,
Alright, so let's bring it down a level. We might not get 1,000 resumes we have to look at in our business, but you probably usually have around 15 to 20, right? Small business,
yeah,
always have 15 to 20.
yeah.
Now, what do you think is the percentage of those people that really only did it because they saw it? They go, I'm close to being qualified. I'm close. Right. So, there are people who just do it. They're going down the list of things on wherever you posted at. I don't care where it is.
Mhm.
And they go, oh, that might be me. Maybe they'll give me a shot. And they just go, dot, dot, dot. So there's a percentage of those people that probably aren't qualified, but apply anyway. How much is that to you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of last, same thing. I remember last time we hired, I think it was probably 20, 25 resumes, something like that. And you're going through the resumes and I'm just like, and we're doing the same thing. I'm trying to qualify them out, but I'm trying to figure out like who should I talk to? Frankly, probably maybe I should talk with all 20, 25 of them, but you're still like, it's like small business. I don't have time. So you're going to try and most of the time when, like there's been a lot of times when we've hired in the past, um, I go out and work to try and find some leads, because the just posting a job for a small business is a real challenge because now you're competing with the big brands of the world. A small business oftentimes can be really tricky to attract people. But honestly, oftentimes people like they'll get to us and they'll stick around for a long time because it's a flexible, nice work environment, I think, to a large degree. Like I think that's we've historically kept people around for quite a long time and they've stayed because of the work environment, right? And um but it's hard to attract people to find us or see that, right? So a lot of times we would go out and try and find them.
Yeah. So do you think it's half? Like if you get 20 resumes, do you think half of them you eliminate just because of the resume?
Yeah, I would say, like, because I like it's been a while since I went, going through resumes, but I will say that there's usually some you can just tell that like um they just like, because we don't have this massive form they got to fill out. They built something and sent it to me, and sometimes they're like, "You just don't even care. You don't want this job." Like, so we're not even throwing anything on their shoulders. It's like, "Hey, you got a resume. If you're looking for a job, just send that over." Um, today what I would likely do is I would be tempted, and I don't know if this would be stupid or not, because I don't know if it would cut some of the right people up, but I would actually probably just say, um, introduce yourself over like a 2-minute video. Tell me about yourself. Tell me, because I want to see like how how do you react to people? How do you like, I don't know. Like, is that a smart idea or stupid idea?
No, it's a great idea because I've used it at least 3 times, right?
Hmm.
We had, all right, where people would send in their resumes and then we would select, I want these people to do the video interview. What I did was I created a series of 3 or 4 questions, right? There was an intro video of me, and then I would say, "Hey, here's your question. Give me a 1 or 2-minute answer on this." And then they would record it. And there's a video software system, and I'm not prepared to tell you what it is. I'll look it up though, and we'll put it in the notes or something. But there's a video software system that allows them to just click the button, record a 1 minute or 2-minute video, and it sends it back. And you ask them 2 or 3 questions, right? So it's real quick. And then
Yeah.
you just evaluate it because you get all the video responses, how they answer this question, this question, this question. You
Yeah.
go yes or no. And it invites them because you've already have a template of, hey, I'd like to meet with you. Schedule an interview here. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Now,
perfect way to sort that down, I think, because you get to see them.
yeah. Yeah, and I like the idea of like, because what I would be looking for is a little bit of their personality coming through, and the questions I'd be asking is like, tell me about yourself. Tell me what you do outside of work. Tell me, because I'm trying to get again to that bit of that, um, the culture fit for the business. Like, how would you work in a team? How would you work remotely? Would you have do you have the drive and the get up and go and the to be able to work remotely and be really effective? Those are things, but partly is it like, am I testing people on how comfortable they feel recording themselves? Which is, that's the part of the problem, right?
Yeah. Jobma. That was the one. Dude, I'm telling you, it changed everything about and allowed me to do what you're saying. I can get a fit before it, kind of a fit, right? At least I'm not just judging you off a piece of a paper.
Yeah.
I can get a fit. Jobma, Jobma. That is the
Okay.
software we used, and it's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. Interesting. Like I think there's a lot of merit to that. I also think there's potentially a lot of, again, you could be losing some really good prospects. Um, I remember, boy, this is going back 20 years. I had a contract, after I started my first business, I had a contract at a college and university. I was doing some teaching there and some other like helping organize some external training things and stuff. And I got called into an interview to help interview for new staff that was coming into the department. And I think they just wanted my opinion. And I remember we had like, there's a couple of interviews we did, and it's tricky because the prospects oftentimes are kind of nervous, right? And I still remember one saying, like in her interview, with not, I'll never forget it, just like no, just completely deadpan. Something about, she's like, something about like, people find me really funny.
That is funny.
And there was no like, that was it, right? And we ended up hiring her, and she was freaking hilarious, but not in the interview. And it did not come through at all in the interview. And it was, that's the danger when people, like, you put them in an uncomfortable situation, you're trying to go like, how do we, it feels a bit like, are you testing the right thing? Like during my creative agency days, um, when we got down to the final few leads, like prospects for a job, we would always take them for lunch every time, take them for lunch or dinner or whatever, because we needed to get them out of that I'm uncomfortable doing a formal interview and into, tell me about yourself. Tell me how what do you do for fun? What do you, and try and get a feel for them as a person. And their outside interests are always like really interesting because it would show that they have this drive and this energy and things like that. Um, and in a real corporate setting, that was the only time I was sort of involved in a hiring process in a real corporate setting. I'm like, I don't know how the heck you guys get people through, because you're making them like, how uncomfortable can we possibly make someone? And let's ask all the questions on this form that HR told us to ask. And I'm like, I just don't know how you. That said, we hired some really great people that way. So I don't know. Maybe it works. Maybe they're onto something there.
You know, I mean, it's just like sales, right? You got to realize you're selling your company. They're selling themselves. People don't look at it that way. They says, I don't want a sales job. Well, how'd you get this job? you know,
Yep.
you sold yourself here. Throughout your life, you've always sold something. I don't care if it's asking your parents to go outside. You had to sell them on the idea, and they had to say yes. It's one of those things where fit matters, persuasion matters, your ability to connect with another person matters.
Yeah. Communication skills matter almost everywhere. Now, as soon as I say it, someone will say, "Well, it doesn't matter here." Well, yeah, maybe, but I think again, it's getting someone that really works well on your team, and train if you have to is a big help. Or you're always gonna have some training, but you can train a little more than you expect, I think.
All right. So, one of the things that's the hardest to do is change industries mid-career. It's hard, right? Because you're not sticking to your knitting. You're just like, hey, I used to be in hotel staffing. Now I want to be in software. That's a damn hard thing to do, because people look at it just like going, you don't know anything about software. You don't know anything about hotel staffing, whatever it is that you're trying to do next. And that is happening more and more and more. And I'm like going,
Yep.
well, maybe we're looking at it differently. Just because you were in software or hotel staffing doesn't mean you can't do the next thing.
Yep.
Management is management. If you were a good general manager of a restaurant running a team, maybe
Yep.
you can run a customer success team too, because of the people skill. And software rules you out because you have no experience in that
Yep.
industry.
I remember it was the founder of, I'm pretty sure it was T-Sheets, uh, at a QBO conference or whatever we were at. This was quite a number of years ago. Pretty sure. Okay, if it wasn't the right company, forgive me, because I think this is where the founder was from. And he said that he hires. It's amazing how many times he hires in a restaurant,
Mm.
because it's customer service. And
Yeah.
you can see, you know what? Ever since that day, there are times where, like, we eat out too much. I'll be honest, but there's times where we are in a restaurant and we'll have a server, and it's just in the back of my mind, it's like, that person, he or she would be really good at, like, maybe a customer success role or something. doesn't need to know software. You can train that stuff. And I'm like, that person can handle people and they care. And it's like, that's how you hire. I don't need someone that's knows accounting or knows that we can train for that. But it's amazing ever since that day, it's like how much I'm always watching in that customer service area where you just go, boy, this is someone that could really excel in a lot of roles.
Dude, you nailed it, right? Like, because I always say that you can always train the skill. You can't give somebody the heart. I can't give you the want to do it. And if
Yep.
you're already used to just dealing with people, that's half the battle in every
Mhm.
job, right? That I can work with a teammate. You got to remember, internal customers are your coworkers. External customers, those people pay you money, right? So
Yep.
it's the same skill. You're just dealing with people. That's the one we have to master.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Like because you and I both know, like there's places where like my wife and I will frequent restaurants, breweries, things. We tend to we like to try new things, but we always we're regulars at a lot of places. This is where we go all the time. And when you see the same, oftentimes it's a server, and you just like you can almost tell like, oh, awesome, we're in so and so section because they really like light up a room and they're really just they can excel in 1,000 different roles and that they would fit in a culture of a lot of different organizations. And then there's one brewery in Edmonton, I will not name names, but it's the opposite. They have hired every staff member on some other factor, and I don't know what it is, but if you ran into a reasonable person there, it's a fluke because they just seem to hire people that hate people. That's a feeling I get, is like they just do not like people. I'm like, and we actually don't, we literally rarely go there anymore because there's one down the street where the people are awesome. And it's just a good reminder how important people are, not just to you, your team, but also your customers.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's so important. When you said you're looking out everywhere you go. I mean, Courtney got her first job while she was shopping. Not that she wasn't offered the job. She was offered an
Yep.
interview. She was just shopping. Somebody says, "Hey, you ever thought about doing this type of work?" Right?
Yep.
Retail. And
Yep.
she was just graduated Texas A&M, and I'm like going, that conversation there, it's just her personality, the way she talked to people while she was around just led to that one question. You ever thought about doing this type of work? And it
Yep.
became her career.
Mhm.
That's the way we have to approach it as CEOs or as managers of your department is when I see somebody that I like the way they are,
Mhm.
right? As a person, not trying to apply for your job as a person, ask the question, "Hey, you ever thought about software? You ever thought about this?
Yep.
You want to have a conversation?" You never know where it goes because
Yep.
people buy people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I probably said this before on the show, but like back in my agency days, we had a really good run, to be honest. We had just such a good team, and we got lazy because we seemed to always get really good people. But I think it was because we had an unintentional, poorly defined, but really effective hiring process. And since then, I've had like some good, but also some ups and downs. And the downs tended to be, um, you just got to do it quick, got to do it quick, got to do it quick, and hire quick. No, we're not thinking bad people or anything. Were they the right fit for the job? Were they the right fit for the culture, for what we needed? Where they would have been a better fit somewhere else, and that's frankly probably up to us. It is up to us to really decide. When someone's looking for a job, they're probably more likely to accept something that maybe they, just because they need a job. From a hiring perspective, it's like we have to be able to identify this might not be the best fit for them. There's probably a better fit somewhere over here. There's likely a really good fit somewhere, but it does come down so much to culture and how they fit in a team, and how trainable are they, because they're going to have to likely be trained if you're hiring so much on culture, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I don't think we really ever addressed it, and we titled the episode this. Remember, we don't plan shit. So this is
I
how
was just looking at the
I want
title.
to tie a bow on this, huh? I want to tie a
What
bow
were we
on
talking
that.
about again?
Huh?
I was just looking at the title. What were we talking about again today?
Do you think there is a talent pool shortage? There you
No.
go. How about that? All right. So you don't think so you think there's enough talent out there. The challenge is finding it.
This speaks to it when you say, you could get 1,000 resumes or 10,000 resumes. If someone says there's a talent shortage, I think it's actually because they're pre-qualifying the wrong people out. And by the time they get down to the 100, and then by the time they get down to the 20, they're going, maybe this isn't the right fit. How could we not get the right fit? Because we started with 10,000 people and we got down to these ones. Probably my guess is that because you qualified out the wrong ones, there is some absolute talent out there. Are we doing the right approach to find the right people to give them the best chance to be able to go like, yeah, this places might be the right fit for me. Because it's each business, there's talent out there that could absolutely excel in our business here and not excel in, let's say, an enterprise environment. And there's people out there that will excel in an enterprise environment, a government environment, and will not excel in ours because it's such a different culture. Different. We work all remote. It is like lightning fast. It is go, go, go. It changes and zigzags and it's like pivot on a dime all the time. Some people aren't that effective at that versus some people aren't as effective at kind of like following these guidelines and grinding, like, going through and this taking the process. They're good. And just working our way through,
Hey, you
and
use that word like 7 times this episode, just that word. And you said it 2 different ways.
like if I'm not thinking, I'm probably Canadian. And if I'm thinking about it, I'll try and slip in your American version. But it's important because the reason, if I've said it this many times, it's because that's how you get effective hiring. Like, how do you get good people, like not good people, I should say, the right people, the right fit, the right culture fit, the right drive, the right for your position. So yeah, like when you say, is there a talent pool shortage? I don't know how many billion people are on this planet. I don't think there is. I actually think it's probably poor filtering.
All right. So, I mean, the word she used when I was talking to her earlier, and I put it in the description, was a unicorn. Should we be looking for a unicorn or a uniform? Somebody that fits in our group? Not uniform as in just blends. I'm just talking about somebody that fits.
Well, I think like I always keep saying, culture fit, culture fit, culture fit. So I'm a little bit undecided, like unicorn or uniform. To me, it's like unicorn. Like, is that super highly effective? But then I do think culture fit, or uniform. The uniform to me feels like, when I say culture fit, it's really important not to say you don't want all of the same. That's not what I mean by culture fit, right? Like there, it's like
Good.
it's like a football team where you got the quarterback and your O line and your D line and you got your running back. They're very different and maybe very different personalities, but they work well as a team. And if you had all of the same, that doesn't mean it's going to be a culture fit and it works well as a team. So I think I've got to be really careful about that. The culture fit and working as a team, oftentimes it's this wide range of differences that make that work. Trying to do like rubber stamping it is all the same. No, that's not going to work. So that is definitely not what I mean by culture fit at all. So,
Dude, I love that analogy, right? Because you're recruiting for different skills, right? I mean, if you're on the O line, you're on the D line, you're a quarterback, different skills. I don't care if it's football teams or fiddle hoppers or anything else. Your team needs.
that was wedged in a little bit. I'll put it, whatever. I'll give it
was
to you.
not wedged in. Dude, you didn't say anything when I put stick to your knitting in earlier because that was the best transition I think I'd ever had.
That
You
was
didn't
nice.
even
That was
notice.
smooth. I did
Yeah.
notice, but that's why I was just like, that was good. That slipped right through. So
I-
I gave you a knowing smile.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I like that. Even though we might have to wear the same uniform, we have different skill sets, and I have to recruit for that position. I have to recruit for you to be the quarterback or the tight end,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Or
and the
don't
culture fit is the culture fit is there's all the really diverse group of people and skills, but they're all pointing in the same direction. And they work with each other. They have good communication skills. They're driven. They like there's these other factors. But yeah, like culture fit is boy, probably the best way to break a culture is to go, let's bring everybody in and try and make them all the same. Well, that's not probably
All
going
right,
to
so
work
think
very
about
well.
this. Think about this. In 2 hours, the NFL draft starts, right? We're recording this on NFL draft weekend. It starts.
Yeah.
There's only one team out of 32 that gets the number 1 pick.
Number one pick. Yep.
Does that mean the number 2 is not a unicorn? Does that mean the
Yes.
first selection of the 3rd round isn't a unicorn, right? I'm just saying that
Yep.
it's the best fit for the position of the people that are available that you have to make a selection on.
Yeah.
How are you making that selection? And don't let a computer do it, or
Yeah.
train a computer to do it, similar to the way you would make a decision. Or you're going to miss out
Well,
on some good people.
because a computer, like I'll say that likely you've got your sort of your data, but I suspect that the interview is more important than anything else to be able to go like, is this a good team player? Are they going to fit in our team? Where a computer might go, oh, they got a 4.250 or whatever. Like it's just like some data. Boy, that like, I've seen that a million times in hockey. It's like the data, the size of a player, that it is like, oh, that, if you look at the numbers, it all works out. And it's like, yeah, they never make it past. Some of them never play a game in the NHL. And then there's ones that are these outliers that are somehow passed over, that should not be passed over. Like go back to, like, this is before computers, but how did Nick Lidstrom and who was the other one? Another superstar, was it Sergei Fedorov, actually get through to Detroit in like this was like the 7th round or something like that? How did they sneak through? Because someone, it may not have been a computer, but someone, 29 teams at that time kind of went, no, they don't check the boxes off. And Detroit won Stanley Cups off of those guys. Like it was just, that's how, this is the perfect example, right? So there's more to it. And I actually think that's the challenge. If you say when we say there's a talent pool of shortage, no, there's not. There's a filtering problem that is not bringing you your best and brightest leads.
There you go. So you've been spending an hour with Mike and Blaine. We've talked about whether or not there's a talent pool shortage. More importantly, think about your hiring process. So if you want to know
Yeah.
more about what we do, subscribe, go check us out, buy the merch, buy the coffee, right? It's not a coffee, it's a beer. Buy us a beer.
Buy us a beer. $5, buy us a beer. We'll mention you. And we got through mostly this episode, although there's a little BS at the start, but actually very little BS mixed into the middle part. So this is a good topic. We must have been pretty engaged. Didn't get way off topic.
That was really good. So appreciate you. Episode 187 is in the books. We are closing in on 200. There's something special is going to happen at 200. We don't know what it is yet, but
Not a clue.
we know you're going to want to be part of it. So be there.
You're going to want to watch it because we'll come up with something that'll be fun. So, but we got a few more to go. Actually, we got 13. That's actually not that many, but join us every week, guys. It's 13 weeks till we get to 200. And
This summer, it happens this summer.
And we will, I'm saying right now, we will have a giveaway. It might not be that exciting to have a giveaway, but we're going to give something up. So maybe we'll give a t-shirt or something, or we'll figure something out. We'll join. I know, probably we'll do something more fun than that, but we will come up with a giveaway of something. And so make sure you join us, because
There you go.
You'll need to, I don't know.
And it's going to be better than the Hundo Super Pack.
Better than the Hundo Super Pack. It's going to be the 2 Hundo Super Pack. And the 200 super pack. We will come up with a 200 super pack, and we will have a way that we will qualify you in and qualify out. So just like we're saying not to do, we will have something fun to give away at 200. So keep watching, keep listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check us out next week.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.